Well, guys, thank you for coming in. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
It's our pleasure.
Absolutely. Aaron, why don't we start with you? Tell us a little bit about Apart.
Apart is the story of Noah and Emily, two, we've been calling them star-crossed lovers, and their kind of dealings with a psychological disorder known as induced delusional disorder. We start with them as children when they're friends and they're on the bus, and through a tragic accident, they contract this strange disease wherein if one person, let's say Josh, for instance, has paranoid schizophrenia, through some kind of tragic accident or some kind of intense bond that becomes formed between us, I would share that paranoid schizophrenia. So if he sees a delusion, I would see it, as long as I am around him. And of course, the only cure for that disorder is separation. And so we follow them through their life into their senior year of high school, and then further beyond that into roughly their college age. And we have two kind of concurrent storylines where we follow their high school storyline and their later in life storyline. When he is awoken from a coma, he returns to his hometown to find this girl, Emily, and figure out what happened to him and what put him in the coma. And so we follow the two stories along as they kind of go, one leading towards the accident that caused the coma and one leading toward current tragedies.
Interesting. What gave you the idea for this?
Well, Josh and I had been looking for something to do together, basically, and I wanted to tell kind of a star-crossed lovers story where we have two people that are in love, but they can't be in love. Through their love, that something tragic would happen. So I wasn't sure what that story was yet, and Josh had kind of his ear to the street, listening for something that would be interesting. As far as the story is concerned, to be a thriller, and we luckily got a call about a couple of years ago concerning this disease, this disorder, the induced delusional disorder, and we thought it would make a ripping yarn.
Yeah.
And so kind of off we went once we heard about this disorder.
Well, and so Josh, talk about your character.
My character, Noah Green, just an awkward teenager, and in love with his girl, Emily Gates. And as Aaron said at the beginning of the film, Noah is kind of seeing the world just like as the audience will see the movie. And he's trying to put the piece of his life back together after waking up from the coma. And he goes on this journey and discovers that things aren't quite what they seem, and people are kind of hiding things from him. And as he begins to kind of dig deeper, that's where the story goes from there.
Well, how do you even begin preparing for a role like this?
Well, it took three things. It took some, a lot of preparation, a lot of research that Aaron and I did on the actual disease and the case studies, and just reading about some of these. The one thing that I really love about the story and I love about the disease is that it's like a tragic love story, and the tragedy about two people who can't be together but they really want to. And for me, I mean, that was like my hook right into this. And and the second thing is Aaron's direction. I knew at the end of the day that even though that the story is being told in different timelines and there's a lot of emotion coming out of the character, Aaron was going to be my wide-angle lens to make sure that every day I was ready to go where I needed to be. And the third thing was Olesya, Rulin, who plays Emily Gates. I'm only as good as the person I'm acting with, and she was great.
And Josh did some interesting prep, which he didn't mention, which was two things that I thought were interesting was we filmed in Josh's hometown, so they allowed him at his old high school, which is, I think, Lamar Consolidated High School. They allowed him to enroll in some classes as his character and kind of go through the daily grind of school.
I got asked out in the cafeteria.
No way.
I did. As Noah Green. And I remember Aaron saying, don't talk to anyone, just put the hoodie on and kind of walk as your character and talk as your character. And I remember just sitting there at the table by myself, and they're like, oh, so you're the new student? Okay, do you want to go out, to know more? And I was like, okay. And I felt like saying, well, I'm really an actor, but I didn't. I did come back later as we started shooting the movie and thanked all the kids. And some of the kids in the school actually became extras in the film, so that was great.
Yeah, and then he did prep at the Richmond Bone and Joint Clinic, where we also shot. Just going through the steps that he would go through coming out of a coma as his character, going through the rehab that one would normally go through, and I think that really helped him find the character as well.
Well, Aaron, go in a little more depth about the Austin connection with the whole movie.
As far as Austin's concerned, we had a ton of crew from here. We were lucky enough to have Natalie Angel. She came on as our line producer and eventually just became a regular producer on the film. And through her numerous connections here, we were able to kind of crew up out of Austin and the Houston area as well. And we just got an amazing crew. So that was really the biggest Austin connection. And I've run into a lot of familiar faces down here from just seeing them on set every day.
Talk about just your experience with the crew here, you know, recruiting so many people out of the Austin area, because I know there are so many talented people.
Yeah, they were all amazing. We were extraordinarily lucky to have them. I don't know what to say other than they were just a great crew, and they were working for very little money. And unfortunately, I wish we could have paid them more, but they showed up every day and they had a smile on their face, and they were all very. Their heart was in the project, and it kind of had to be because they were working for the love of the script. Great aplomb.
Well, and as writers of this movie, is it hard to create that delicate balance of going from the past to the future and going down one path and going to the next and making it all kind of make sense in the end?
It is. We had originally tried to schedule the movie so that it was kind of, even though we were breaking apart and going back and forth between those two time periods, we would film each of those periods linearly, but because we had the budget we had and the time we had to kind of not do that, so it became a little more complicated as far as, okay, what year are we in now? So we developed kind of little markers as far as how the story would be told and what years we were in, like certain styles of dress and hairstyles and things of that nature.
Our hair and makeup crew and our wardrobe department were very instrumental during production. They had to be, because I mean we had to know where we were at all the times, because some days we were shooting past, present, and coma, all in one day.
So what do you guys hope people walk away from this movie with?
Again, the beauty and the tragedy of this film is about the two people who share this close connection and love each other, and that for some weird reason, it's a psychological reason that they cannot be together. And I hope people, when they walk away from the theater, they're rooting for these characters in the end.
I hope they are able to find a bit of themselves in the characters. Not that we try to make it as unstock and stay as far away from cliche as possible, but you are making kind of an all-American experience where you're dealing with hopefully everyone's high school experience. And I know I respond to movies where it's left not vague, but you're able to interpret it on your terms and kind of see yourself in one of the characters, so it hits closer to home, and hopefully we're able to do that where we've kept it open enough that people can see themselves in the movie, and I think that I know that the movies I emotionally respond to are those type of movies where I can say, oh, I knew a guy like that, or that was me, I responded like that in that situation. So hopefully we're honest enough as a film that people can do that.
And I also hope that people, when they leave the theater, I mean, this is what I love about film, is that it carries with you when you're in the car, when you're taking a shower, and then the next day. And I feel like this movie has those moments in it.
It requires a bit of thought, and you have to kind of take part in the experience. And when at our premiere on Saturday night, we noticed a lot of people kind of leaning forward and really kind of like, okay, I've got to follow along, and so hopefully
that's great when you see the audience actually go do what you want them to do. It's a very powerful moment.
So hopefully it's something they have to turn over in their minds after the fact.
That isn't, you watch people's body language during screenings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
very interesting.
We've seen the movie so many times, so it's like
we have nothing else to watch.
We have nothing else to watch, so it's entertaining to see how the audience is responding to the movie.
Change it up a little bit.
Yes.
Just make sure no one's texting.
Yeah. Put your phone down.
Or leaving.
Yeah.
Hey, where are you going?
Yeah.
Stay.
I actually stood by the door and just like, oh no, we don't have nobody out right now.
Try and do a scene for them and say, no, he gets back.
Right. Yeah. Where do you guys take the film after South by?
We're going to Dallas.
Yeah, we're going to be in Dallas, I think April 3rd.
And April 5th.
And April 5th.
I don't know the times yet.
I don't know that they've released a full schedule, but that's next, and then I know we're seeking distribution, and we've got a couple of offers, so hopefully we'll be somewhere else after that.
That's where our producer is right now at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it never stops.
Never stops.
Well, good. Congratulations, guys. Thank you for coming in.
Thank
I
you
really
for having me.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.